Hi guys, welcome to the Incredible Hulk podcast. We're covering Prometheus, the opening two-parter of season 4, and I'm pleased to have with me two gentlemen who've been on before. First of all, we have Beef. How are you doing there, Beef?
Spectacular, buddy. It's always a pleasure to come here and talk about one of my passion subjects. Being this show, such a big part of my childhood.
Yeah, great man. And also, I'm joined by Graham. How's it going, Graham?
We're doing, Frank. Good to be back, mate. And it's always good to come back here, talk Wayne Green, and get Fighting Machine.
Interestingly, it opens the same kind of way as the pilot did. It has just this black screen with white lettering, Prometheus, very kind of eerie underscore. So an interesting sort of start from the norm, and opening up with this meteor hurtling across the sky, and these scientists and so on. So yeah, very interesting openings way of doing things. It didn't sort of go straight into like showing banner or anything. It was just this kind of, where is this kind of going? What are we dealing with here? So what did you fellas think of that sort of opening bit? Because I thought that was an intriguing way of starting it.
Interesting way of opening it. It's obviously setting up the premise of the story with the meteor and the scientists and with the meteorite coming down, obviously. So it's setting up the main plot point for the first part of the story anyway.
Yeah.
While we're in Utah, and then obviously you've got Bill Bixby there, David Banner doing a bit of fishing, and we come across doing a bit of fishing. They increase the power of the water, where we have an incident where we save Kate, and we're off to the races in terms of David trying to help.
Fishing without a license.
There you go, exactly. Where's your permit, Mr. Banner?
That was bad already. Yes,
blatant disregard for health and safety, just because I'm just standing there close to the outlet.
Exactly.
The outlet of a dam, and literally, if you're going to jump in a river, corduroy and denim is really a poor choice of a tie.
Really is. Way down. Yeah.
Yeah, really. I'm surprised he was able to stay afloat even for a second. But like you say, you can tell this is a sort of an epic one, I suppose, to have that black opening, and then you have your big sweeping meteorite in space. It gives you that sort of that feeling of the disaster movie or something like that you used to have at that sort of time. That sort of a sort of epic type thing to it, purely to the fact as well that for the most part, Banner doesn't actually speak for a while. The main exposition that you get, the control room, the control room, and the sort of the faux office relationship, inappropriate jokes in the workplace that were
in the 1970s too.
Well, obviously quite prevalent then. But then you obviously have the call with the code name Prometheus, and obviously any of you guys who know your history, that stole fire from the gods and gave it to man. Do you know what I mean?
Indeed,
it gives you the idea that there's something a bit more to perhaps this meteorite than meets the eye, for the fact that it seems to be adjusting its course and correcting its movement. So
interesting concept.
Having some sort of intelligence, of course, it turns out that the actress playing Kate, I think it is, Laurie Prange, has also appeared in another two-part of the Hulk as well, in the early run. And both times, interestingly, she played characters who had disabilities of some sort. She's blind in this one, and she was led to believe she couldn't walk in the previous story. So, so she wasn't able to walk, although that was a ruse, to keep her there. But it's interesting that she's played like the sort of people that have a handicap, in both stories. But
I wouldn't call that a stereotype, but she was really good in this.
Oh, she was very good indeed. Yeah, you're right. So she falls into the water, and Banner comes down and helps. I was I was really surprised that he didn't Hulk out in that moment, actually, because that was quite stressful.
Hulk need bath.
Yeah. If you worked it by the numbers, you were expecting him to sort of like hit himself against a rock, and then
nothing, nothing happened. But
was this not the point in the show though, where they really had to be conservative with how many Hulk counts per episode? Were they not flitting between 1 and 2?
Yeah.
At this point, so save it for the bees later on, or was it wasps?
Oh yeah, that's it. It was, save the bees. Yeah. But it was. But yeah, I mean, with the when there were 2-part stories, a lot of the time they could do 3 or 4 Hulk outs over the 2 episodes, But this one, I think there's only 3. But anyway, he gets her out and gets her back to her. She's got a little cabin in the woods.
He gets rewarded with a bowl of chicken noodle soup.
Yeah.
Go figure.
It's also a little bit like the old Frankenstein thing again. The little cabin in the woods.
Yeah.
The blind person.
I got that, and then she didn't she knock it into her piano?
I believe so.
Now, how you clean something like that out of a piano with the strings is another matter.
Now, these days that could be misconstrued for something else, but back in the 70s, she probably got away with that, So
yeah, come back to my cabin for a bowl of soup. Yeah.
Yes. Well, what I did enjoy though was when he was directing her through the forest and teaching her how to sense directions with the sun and the moss on the rocks. And
although after a very brief lesson, he says, "Right, now you're going to take me to the road and see you later."
I'm off. Yeah. I'm getting the hell out of here.
Yeah, I'll give you the basics. After that, you're on your own. Left to fend yourself. Oh, by the way, hopefully there'll be no bears.
Yeah, see you around though, too soon.
But one thing you do sort of notice with her, and it's sort of at first you sort of like, hang on a second, love, dial it back a minute, because she's really quick to anger.
Yeah, that's true.
And she really sort of like, well, hang on a second, he's trying to help you out, and you're biting his head off, and then you sort of get the story that basically she was a city girl, she was a pianist. Now, I don't, and she would sight read, so I suppose this is why the sort of idea of her being able to play music has taken away from her. But she's only sort of within the last 7 months, I think it is. They say lost
7 months. Yeah.
And strangely enough, the city was too much, so I decided to move somewhere where the area is completely open to interpretation, and the pitfalls are even greater. But I suppose, it's that she's found it all very overwhelming. So you get this idea that there is a sort of a bitterness, a resentment. So that's that reason why she's just so snappy and everything like that. Because to a certain degree, she's a bit of an unlikable character. When you sort of, she's like that. It's like. But you sort of mellow out as you find out a bit more about the story, and then it's sort of where Bruce sort of starts to cajole her and everything like that. But then the meteor hits, and there's this great earth shake. Sort of, I better go have a look. And then she sort of like bites his head off again for no reason. Well, fine, you go and look at it just because you can. It's
exactly.
Never mind, someone might be injured. It's all about you.
You go back to your cabin, Yeah.
It might be a plane crash. There could be bodies down there.
That's it.
There you go. So anyway, we get to the meteor, right? It's warm. It touches it.
Yeah.
Down come the bees, and
doing very well at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. After that, things go green.
Yeah. Luckily, we find out early on that this meteor is emitting high levels of gamma radiation. It's a shame one of the foremost experts of gamma radiation died 3 years ago, really. Otherwise, we could have called Miss Dr. Banner up and really got some help on this one.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, that's very true. And we should also point out that Jack McGee is poking his nose around in the camp of the Prometheus military.
Yes.
He's acquired a uniform, and he's still on the trail of the big green guy.
Yeah. Oh, well, I love that, because there's a lovely little side to that where he's speaking to her and she says, "Oh yeah, my brother lives in the town down there. Do you know the town?" And then there's a cutaway scene to this Hulk-shaped hole in the front of a sweet shop with Jack McGee just like, "I might have been there."
Yeah.
I do like. There's those little just like side gags. I think
it was like, meanwhile, back in a previous adventure. Yeah.
So
the green guy's here. He's pissed.
It's definitely having some weird effect on the Hulk by the look of it, on Banner. Yeah.
And all the time, there's this ever-present military, waiting for this meteor to arrive, and you just have this mysterious name that runs all the way through it, and you don't really get a resolution to it in the first episode. It's just Prometheus. Prometheus is coming. Prometheus will be here. Yeah. And you think, what is it? Is it a person? Is it a thing or something like that? So that's quite cool in that respect. You have a good build-up of tension. And you have then these mysterious uniforms that thankfully are good. Inquisitive friend Mr. McGee is able to purloin one for himself.
Yes.
Yeah, nothing like a good hoodie tracksuit combi. Thankfully the Prometheus uniform requirements stretch to leisure sportswear.
Yes.
Some of the people in that military were really stupid as fuck, though, really, man. He was just going up there telling him, asking various questions, no ID, no nothing, and he was getting the answers he was looking for. You're like...
that's it. Just walk around and act like you own the place, and good things will happen.
Yeah, you know.
Yes, soldier. What's going on here? Well, sir,
The resolution to the first part, well, I did leave you wanting more. The scenes with the choppers, hell broke loose. Then came the big red cylinder, engulfs the Hulk and Katie. And meanwhile, McGee's going, okay, how do I follow these guys? And up in the sky we go, and it's to be continued.
It was a pretty big scale bit, the end.
Yep.
It is quite a big sort of epic scale, isn't it? That they're carrying this sort of giant nipple or something, really, on the underside of a helicopter that they're just going to literally encase him in. But you do get this sense of that you don't know anything about Prometheus. You don't know anything about this meteorite. You don't even know it's a meteorite or if it is a ship of some variety. But all you know is that it's having some sort of effect because you have...
it's the gamma radiation.
You have this great thing now because he's sort of stuck midway between. He can't be Banner, he can't be the Hulk 99% of the time, and you just have this sort of weird sort of, I believe the term that's used on the internet a lot is Demi-Hulk.
Demi-Hulk, is that what he's
Demi-Hulk, okay. Yeah. And that neatly brings me on, B, to mention that, because at the end of this show, I've got an interview I recorded with the Demi-Hulk himself, Ric Drasin. So if you guys stick around, you'll be able to hear that at the end of this show.
Was that Bill Bixby's voice just changed slightly with auto-tuner?
Yeah, they
Demi-Hulk was
dropped it down an octave or two, I think. Yeah. To make
right.
Yeah. So Drasin had to lip-sync some of Bill's words, when he's dialogue, from a mid-shot or something.
Yeah,
that's it. Because I think what it was the mid-shots. They wanted someone who was sort of in the same way that it was, he was bigger than Bixby but smaller than Lou. So he fit for those mid and sort of wide shots that worked perfectly. And then, obviously, then you didn't have your special effects that you have now. So you have the clever thing of your Cro-Magnon sort of heavy eyebrowed Bixby for your close-ups.
That's right.
So, and this brings us to part 2 where they start calling in the experts. And I've got to say, massive props to the professor who likes to undress women with robot hands.
Crack people. One of them. It was the military
doctor.
Military chief from the time tunnel.
Yeah.
So if you
and then you had the archaeologist chick.
They got the best of the best from the country. Yeah,
that's it. And there's obviously a trigger coding. We have a visitor, and
we have a visitor. Although the chick just kind of got a nod, she never got any of that,
But this is the great way that you sort of end and start the first episode, along with having this sort of big sort of cinematic type thing that you have these mysterious men showing up in places and everything like that. So you have this mystery idea of Prometheus and what it means and what it entails. Is that you have at that point, you have the Hulk contained, which up until then is something that just has been able to do. Banner wasn't even able to do it himself from the very start. So they're able to somehow have an ability to contain him. And like, whoa, this is something new. This is something that we haven't seen fully. So it does amp up your sort of like, oh, what's going to happen next? So it's very sexy in that respect.
Yeah,
indeed. So we're in an underground mountain once we arrive.
We are,
and once he's removed for the cylinder, we are in an encasing was it fire, static?
Microwaves.
Microwaves, that's what it was.
So the further he goes into the microwave, the hotter he gets. So it's sort of like I suppose it's like conditioning. I suppose is the best way to describe it. So if you're containing an animal or a creature or something like
that's
that,
right.
They back away from something that's painful. And it was the in technology then, I suppose. And microwaves thankfully are invisible, so you don't have to spend any extra money where you don't need to on lasers.
So while this is going on, our buddy Jack McGee has infiltrated the Prometheus underground layer, so to speak.
Yes.
And he's posing as a surgeon eventually, once he gets into the sterilisation area.
Yeah.
And he uncovers a secret of his own when it comes to the inner workings of Prometheus.
Yeah, he gets to look at all the screens, and he's getting like a potted little history of things. And
through dogged determination and guile, and
just telling the guy, go and have a cup of coffee, and you're like, again, did anybody check badges and records of people?
Misdirection.
Yeah.
Look, you've done something you shouldn't, so don't you question me, Sonny. Yeah. Who do you think's going to be in more trouble, you or me? Yeah. But that's it. You finally get the resolution that this massive underground structure inside a mountain, and the scale of the sort of bit where they're sort of moving your Hulk nipple off the flat truck into like a base, and it's being craned across, and it's like in a massive power station. You just get this massive scope to it, and it is something that's it's. With regards to the series, you think a lot of it would always be very low, self-contained, small cast. This is like, with a cast of hundreds of extras, on a scale never before seen. It is, it's massive. So you get the idea that this is not just like your run-of-the-mill sort of army operation, and you find out that it is. It's the idea of that what a green man has been misconstrued as, well, a not so little green man in this case, really, isn't it?
Indeed. So, while encased in the microwave chamber, the touchy-feely Mr. Robot guy decides to have a go. Sends in the hand.
He doesn't quite,
No, he sends in the hand and he gets yanked. So
maybe he should have started with the Prosecco first, like he does with the lady.
He should have, wooed the Hulk first.
Exactly. A Hulk likes to be wooed.
Anyway, he does get a bit of he takes his hand off. Point.
That's what you call one hell of a hand job. Yeah.
So, what we'll do is we'll add the meteorite to make him more agitated. What
does he do? He finds a way out. Yeah, pounding the ground.
And that's quite cool. I like that actually, because you think at this point it's sort of like Hulk's a bit thick. You think generally Hulk is a bit thick, and then it's like, oh no, hang on a second, I'm going to go through the floor.
No microwaves on the ground. Yeah.
And that, I thought, it was actually a really nice touch.
Smashing his way through the floor. Great.
So we should probably also point out that Katie's also in this underground chamber. Well, the facility with him.
Yes.
So you've got a subplot of having to go and pick her back up again.
She's a victim of circumstance, being in the wrong place at the wrong time, as is normally the case for David. So that's a nice little change of situation for him there.
Yeah,
but and that's it. You find out this Prometheus thing is basically
corrupt.
Well, it's not corrupt, but it's basically if aliens arrive, what do we do? and how can we turn it to our advantage? And that's the thing. Scientists never, in the same way with the Manhattan Project and developing the nuclear bomb, then you realise that there's always a military aspect for it. Yeah, what can be gained from it? Can we turn it to can we turn this to our advantage?
Reverse the weapon. Yeah.
And that's where you get a lovely, great turnaround. I think with this as well is that McGee, for a lot of the time, he's the villain you love to hate.
He was quite good in this. He was a wee bit of redeeming qualities about him.
That's it. He goes through this sort of a sort of bit of an arc through this, that he sort of like he wants to sort of save the Hulk. He wants to get the blind chick out of the way because she doesn't she shouldn't be there. So actually sort of saying, well, hang on a second, you shouldn't be doing this. You need to think of the ramifications of what you're doing. And he's the word of caution. I've been tracking this thing for 3 years. I know what it's capable of.
One quick question. When he was trying to negotiate with him, when he was a Demi-Hulk, where did the name John come from? Is that just in terms of like John Doe?
It was John Doe, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, okay.
Well, also because I think David had already filled her in on the background that McGee was looking for and everything like that.
No, yeah, he'd done that back at the cabin. I meant from McGee's point of view. What did I'm assuming it was just called John Doe.
She told him. She said, "Oh, I called you John." So then I wasn't giving your identity away.
All right, got you. So she, I must have missed that part.
Yeah. He did in some earlier episodes, Jack McGee did when he encountered him, he did call him John Doe. John.
Okay. Maybe it works both ways then, for the purpose of the story and the purpose of the fact that he doesn't know who it is.
In the continuity with that he did coin him that before.
All right, cool. So, as it turns out, in order for the Demi-Hulkness to subside, they had to get further away from the gamma-radiated meteorites.
That's right, yeah.
There was a fight on his hands to get out of the bunker.
Thankfully, they must have already cleared it out of the way by the time he got her back to the cabin. So
there you go. No side effects whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, take 2 meteorites and call me in the morning with no lasting side effects. But everyone goes through a bit of a change in this. I think as well. Well, we're a show where the character changes every week, but he can't change to a certain degree because he can never be totally Hulk. He can never be he can't go back to being Banner. So what happens if he can't change and everyone else around him changes? McGee's changes. Your blind girl sort of has an acceptance, and she goes on
a bit,
and realizes that perhaps she can do it. I think the scientists as well, that you get that sort of little epilogue at the end of it.
Yeah, McGee and the archaeologist.
She's an anthropologist. That's it. And said,
I just saw digging upset in the dark as to some of the
we need to be maybe a bit more open, but maybe not yet. While it's never going to go away, maybe we could try and do things better. So everyone has a sort of journey. Everyone comes away learning something.
Yep.
But what is really good about this as well that I like about this one is that Bill gets to get angry. He doesn't have to be placid the time or be the peacemaker. He gets to do a bit of range. He can be a bit angry in this one, but also you get the idea that sort of it's a bit weird actually if you think, if Hulk could talk, what would Hulk be like and everything like that, and you just have this mid-range one now, so it's like he's like a sort of infant, a massively strong infant.
Yes.
Just picking up on that about where he was able to show his frustration and his anger as Demi-Hulk or Bill Bixby as it was. I felt sorry for, was it the teapot or the kettle? He was looking at his reflection in the cabin.
He just crushes it.
Oh Jesus, man! That was an appliance. Yeah.
There was some good bits there. I like the tension in that scene was really good as well. Where she's playing the piano and then silent,
And
this feeling that something's not right. Goes to the door, and she's out. You don't see him, but you hear it. You know, she goes out and she says, "Who's there? Who's there?" And you hear this growl, and it's like, "Oh man, you know."
Yeah. And that's it. He's there crunching up his pot, going, "This usually doesn't happen." Which you should never say with a woman, really. But you do,
Seems as if you don't really know where this is going to go. You know,
you don't know if he's going to go for her, so you do have a sort of edge thing because you don't know. He doesn't know. He doesn't know who he is. He's got no semblance of who he is, where he is, what's going on, and it's like a child, but with all the power of a wrecking machine.
Yeah, and it's nice to see that this two-parter also carries on the tradition of this show where the sound score and the music lead the action, whether it's the choppers coming down or the trucks or the encasing and the imprisonment at the end of part one. Well, let's see it in part two, but basically in part one, the sound score really done a good job of leading the story in this thing. Even in the river, at the dam at the beginning. So
yeah. You just have really good break points. The first episode is tension and setup, and then the second that you get your exposition, your reveal of Prometheus, and then you get your resolution. And it's not sewn up massive. It's not sewn up really quickly, and you think, oh well, they could have done this in two. I think that's a great thing about this. It's done over 2 episodes, so you have time to sort of look at the characters more. I think certainly what happens with McGee, who is, I think for me, one of the standout parts in this, because you do get a sort of 360. You're rooting for him by the end of it, and you're cheering because you think as well, what would happen if the Hulk was to get... This is the thing he never wanted to do. He's been captured. Not by the police, not by McGee. He's been caught by the military, and he doesn't stand a chance. But could this be a good thing? Could he? And you have that bit where McGee is pleading with him. You've saved my life 3 times. These are scientists. They can help you. You want peace. You want to be left alone, and you want to be rid of this monster. Could this be the solution that he's been looking for all this time? And then it's spoiled.
Tranquilizer darts galore.
So it is. You have this. This is a really bad thing, but could it be a really good thing? And you think, well, no,
it's somewhere in the middle.
Like David himself.
That's right. Sadly, the help didn't happen. It didn't go the way that it might have done for him, because, of course, with them rushing in like a bull in a china shop, it caused another Hulk out. And that was it. And then all he wants to do is get out of there. So, the Hulk instinct in him doesn't want to be trapped. He wants to break out.
As Freddie said, he wanted to break free.
You can't contain the Hulk, to be honest with you. That's the thing. David tries to contain it, but he doesn't want to be kept prisoner and everything like that. And that's the thing is, ultimately their actions, by trying to contain him and stop him, so they're trying to shut the valve in the ventilation system, and him doing that, it literally just wrecks the living hell out of the base, because the oil goes everywhere, flame, electric. There's so many building code violations.
Shut down, health and safety, gone through the roof.
That's it. Insurance premiums, workplace injury claims. The list will go on and on.
Indeed.
So this one really, I've always found this one a really great one, because I like the added thing of the mid-Hulk transformation. It's just something so odd about that and interesting. I really like those scenes when you have the halfway bit, and it was an interesting way of doing it.
I've got to say, just to beef up on his point about him being like a really strong Neanderthal-like child when he's a Demi-Hulk. It was perfectly illustrated at that scene where she gets led off her home for the military. She comes out the back of the truck and sneaks back to the cabin, and he's still waiting in the closet. And you're like, how long has that been? You've been in there all that time?
That was an interesting thing. Yeah, how he just sort of he just kind of went along with what she told him. It's like obeying, quietly like that. Yeah,
that must have been at least a good hour. I mean, geez.
It must have been. Yeah.
But yeah, that's it as well. And this isn't one of these episodes where it's David helping someone. Or that's your overall feeling of the episode. It's him helping someone with the situation. Yeah, she does get help and sort of learns to perhaps go back to the city, and she can sort of fix herself and everything like that. But that's not ultimately not what his aim is, and nor is it him trying to get rid of being the Hulk either. It's not one of those episodes. It's basically a sort of, what if this happened to the Hulk? And that's quite cool in that respect, because it's a case of everyone's. It's the discussions that you would have at the time in the playground or at the office, or sort of what would happen if the Hulk had to work in an office and wore a business suit? The chaos that would ensue and everything like that. So you just have this. It's just pure Hulk. So it's like, this is comic book, and this is what you want it to be. Certainly, I think on a season opener as well.
Yeah,
there you go. Epic stuff.
There are those parallels to the comic book, aren't there, as well? Because obviously the Hulk, the military thing, like going back to the comic that with the comic and the films, things like that.
It's funny they went for this. I don't know if this was the executives that but intervening around about this time or no. Because anytime you look at you see an interview with the showrunner, they say they tried as much as possible to steer clear for the comic side. Which is.
Maybe they just buckled that one time. Maybe, I don't know. It's about the closest we get, probably.
Well, that's it. I think it's a case of, it's rather than where we've spoken about like episodes before, and we said, there's a definite message to this one here. This is just like, this is pure indulgence. This is like, we're just going to do something about the Hulk, and what would happen if the Hulk can't change back to Banner or everything like that, and he's just stuck there. What happens then? Yeah. And it's an exploration of the Hulk than anyone else, and anything else you get on top of that is a bonus, and you do get that.
The only question I've got is with the base being destroyed supposedly with the fire and all the rest of it and all the claims. I'm assuming that video footage for the helicopters went where? Not that they could ever get away with it, I don't think, but there you go.
I imagine that went up, yeah.
And because it was mid-transformation, they could never get a positive ID.
True, because he was midway already, wasn't he? That's right. Yeah.
Look at his eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Mean and green, and finding that.
Mean machine. Yeah.
But it was an intriguing idea, like they're thinking that that Hulk is an ET, and he came down with a meteor. I like that,
Yeah, that's it.
They weren't sure what it was at the beginning.
You've got to address the green skin colour at some time. They're racially profiling our Hulks. God damn it!
How dare you, man?
He's green. He must be an alien.
Just as well there was no red Hulks at this time.
Exactly.
He's got to be different. Yeah. But that was a nice idea, though. I thought. Yeah.
Green lives matter.
So all in all, guys, did you say this was like a bit of a classic one in the canon of the series?
I think so. Yeah, I like it. I've always loved that thing with McGee and Banner. To be honest with you, it's always the cat and
mouse.
Yeah, the cat and mouse game between the two of them, and And when it's sort of like there's a bit of a turnaround in your chase, and it's sort of like thinking he's not so bad after all. He does have good points. That always makes a great bit of storytelling for me. So this is going to always factors high.
Yeah, and I concur with that. It's one of the most action-packed two-parters of the series for sure. And the added layers to Jack McGee only proves more dividend as time goes on for me, and it shows you that all right, he's the so-called antagonist, but on the flip side, he's got some good points to him.
Oh yeah, definitely had quite a few redeeming qualities there, I think. He didn't want the creature killed really.
They wanted the money, greedy son of a bitch.
Yeah, it was a bit like he said, like, what a great find you have. He says to them, you've got this thing here. You could do some research. You've got it contained, and they say something like, what's in it for you? He goes, well, I get my story. It's tit for tat kind of thing. He's not doing it all for the right reasons, but
There you go.
But yeah, I think Jack Colvin, was really, really good in this. I think it gave his character a lot more to do, which usually sometimes he doesn't always get. Two-parter it.
Yeah.
He gave him room to breathe and showed some different sides to him as well, which is always good.
You mentioned that interaction with the military a lot at that specific point in the episode. I loved that. You asked too many questions, you'll end up in a jail cell. That's all right. I can write many books there.
I think this is a cracking two-part story. I think it was a great way of opening up the season. You fellas agree, or
action-packed?
It was very action-packed. Yeah.
That's it. If you want to get people on, that's it. Give them what they want. Give them Hulk. That's what they got. They got a sort of a bit of everything. You got your principal banner in that. You got your Demi-Hulk. And you still got your Farino fix, shall we say?
That's it. Yeah.
It had the triumvirate. So everything else, then you're on board. You know what you're getting, and then that's it. Yeah, it's a good setup then for what you're going to have there.
Yeah, it was.
And that's it. Yeah, everyone sort of really does get a happy ending to this one. I don't think anyone gets. No, there isn't really a villain of the piece apart from sort of the military and the government. And they're always going to be painted in that way, and they're always there anyway. But perhaps the scientists have learned a lesson, McGee gets a good thing by the end of it. Yeah,
gets a story.
Yeah. Madam goes back to finds the gumption to go back to the city, and
she's on the Greyhound bus.
Yeah, exactly. And then well, apart from David, who you can't get. He didn't die.
Well, no, we've not reached the 91 movie yet.
He gets to go back to being him again. I suppose from that, that's a positive. So
yeah. So he's still got that. He still is not free of that affliction, though. That's the thing. He's still not free of the Hulk. So
no.
But he's got a satchel, do you know what I mean? So
he's got a satchel. God knows what he can carry in it.
Yeah, exactly. How satchel will travel, and if things get heavy, he can legally fish again.
It's like I said back when we done Ricky. He's like a bohemian mammoth version of the littlest hobo. He travels from town to town.
Yeah, he's got backwoodsman skills. He can fix vending machine through to racing car alike.
There you go.
He's literally your man for all seasons.
He is
a jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades, and he's master of all of them. Yeah, instead of none. Yeah.
Apart from health and safety. Yeah, that's it.
Well, he's pretty shit at that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
he doesn't have a very good danger radar, does he? He doesn't avoid trouble very easily. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of hard, isn't it?
That's it. He's forever banging himself and injuring himself.
Normally that's just an expression. Yeah.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? If he was a bit more careful, there'd be less breakout, shall we say? Yeah.
Freak out. Yeah.
Be a lot less damage to property and things.
Yeah, and that's the only thing, man. When this guy travels from town to town, there must be a hell of a lot of onion insurance companies. The amount of damage it does, I'll tell you.
Well, they're probably not covered for active Hulk, so
yeah, they haven't got that in their contract, So.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, that's it. By the end of it, you do. It has had you've got a cinematic feel to it. You do. It goes through the whole thing. By the end of it, it's sewn up well as well. It's not left like hanging with unanswered questions. So this is like you made the comparison to the pilot as well, from the opening to it. This is like a sort of self-contained movie because it's
90 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's scaled, and you can see the scale of it. Yeah, with the huge sets, the amount of extras in it. It's definitely, they're going much more for a movie appeal with that one.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of the other episodes, as you said, Steve, earlier on, tend to be quite a relatively small cast, contained, small town or something like that. Not the huge scale that we saw there.
Yeah. Whether that was maybe that was the case of that they found out that this. Maybe that was something decision making as the sort of series trailed off and everything like that, and they found that it worked well to do these sort of 2-part combined made for TV type movies and everything like that. That perhaps that would be the great way to carry it on, because you can have this sort of character journey, transformation, and resolution to it, and that's it. So you do, maybe that was it. Maybe it was a foreshadowing of things to come.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
So all in all, gentlemen, I think it's been a great story to cover.
Indeed.
One of my favourites. I think it's a great one.
Always fun.
We enjoyed it. Yep.
Please stick around at the just after this, guys, because we've got my interview with Ric Drasin, who was the Demi-Hulk. So I hope you'll all get a kick out of that.
Yeah, hopefully he remembers the combination to all those lockers, or failing that, just rips the doors open.
That's it.
Indeed.
A lot easier,
and if this episode teaches you anything, folks, stay away from bees. If you don't believe him, just ask Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah. Rock's bad. Rock is bad.
Yeah, you're right there, yeah. On that lovely note, thank you very much, gents, for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure to be here, mate.
And I hope you all enjoyed this one. It's been a pleasure. And I'm very pleased to welcome Ric Drasin, who played the Demi-Hulk, the halfway Hulk, if you like, in the 2-part story. So, welcome, Ric. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm just having a little high-protein lunch after I worked out, because you got to stay in Hulk shape, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't let it go just because you're not doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Franco still trains every day down in Venice. I see him quite often.
Ah, right. Yeah. So, Ric, it's great for you to join me. Thank you so much for doing this.
Sure, my pleasure.
Ric, this was, in a sense, I mean, I have heard rather, that there has been, at the time when the Hulk was being made, it was quite one of the most expensive shows on television at the time. And I think it had quite a high budget. But when you look at Prometheus, that 2-parter, you can certainly see where the money went.
Yeah, no question about it.
It was a very big scale production.
Yeah, they have people put money into this stuff, and they know it's going to be successful, so they put a lot of money into it and utilize it properly, so you have the best quality of the show you want to get.
Absolutely, yeah. How can you tell me how you were cast in the role as playing like the halfway Hulk?
Yeah, well, I was at the gym and Lou Ferrigno came in and he said to me, "See, they're casting for a Demi-Hulk, a half Hulk, that looks like the combination between me and Bill Bixby." And he said, "I think you'd be perfect for it because we all have the same facial structure."
Yeah.
So I said, "Okay." They sent me over to meet the producer, and he liked me. And he said, "You look just like if the two of them had a baby, you'd be it." So they tested some makeup on me, and they took me out to the set where they were shooting, and they made me kind of a green color, but they didn't really want it. But the funny thing was, they took me in a Jeep and they drove by the tram of the tourists, and they said, "Oh my God, it's the Hulk!" They thought that was the guy. So then they brought me back, and they decided to make me more of a brown, and they cut my hair like Bixby's up in Hollywood. It was a $150 haircut back then, which was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then they gave me an implants on my nose and forehead that was foam. They blended in, and then they gave me the contacts, and there was the character.
Wow. I've heard that some of the cast didn't get on too well with the contacts. Did you find them okay?
No, not at all.
They were okay with
I had
you.
no problem
Yeah.
with anybody. No problems.
Yeah. Because I know they can irritate some people's eyes, you know.
No, they gave me a liquid Novocaine in my eye, which numbed it. And
Yeah.
I know Bill Bixby didn't like it, but I didn't mind it. And I still have, when the show ended, the eye tech dropped a set of those lenses in my bag, so I have them. I never gave them back. And in those days, those lenses were $800, which was a lot of money back then.
An awful lot, yeah.
And they were hard lenses. They weren't soft lenses. Today they could use soft lenses, and they have all kinds of stuff for like $100. It's really cheap. So I still have them. It's kind of a collector's item.
Yeah.
I tried to save the appliance on my face, but it didn't last a month. It disintegrated. It's made out of foam.
Ah, right, yeah. So can you remember where, Rick, where you were shooting at the time? What sort of locations you worked in and stuff?
Where we shot?
Yeah.
Well, we shot on the Universal lot for some of the stuff. And then the other part of it was shot out, I don't know if anybody's familiar with Magic Mountain here in Los Angeles, but it's about 10 miles north of the valley, and it's an amusement park, but behind there is a river, and it's down a gully, and we shot out there for some of it as well. It's really cold. And Ferrigno tells me, he says, come in my trailer and eat. He says, I got cottage cheese and all this protein. I said, okay. At the end of the night, he says, let's go down to Venice and work out. I said, I'm not driving all the way from here to Venice. It's an hour. He says, no. We'll have the helicopter take us. No, I don't want to do that. I want to go home. I'm tired.
Yeah.
You're there all day. I'm probably 4 in the morning on. And sometimes they put makeup on you at 5 a.m. and you'd sit there until evening and they wouldn't even use you. I said, well, I'm sitting here all day doing nothing in my trailer getting bored to death.
So what would you do?
That's part of the business, though.
What would you do in those sort of moments where you had nothing to do? Would you sort of read or what kind of things would you do?
I don't know. I mean, I talk to people a lot, and I learn a lot by talking. So a lot of the crew members were very interesting people, and we'd sit and talk about things, and I like to learn stuff. And I don't know, I like to go behind the scenes and learn about filming and editing and all that, because I do my own show, and I learned a lot by talking about it. You just got to keep your ears open all the time. There's a lot of good information out there.
Did you get to look around the sets and stuff, when in your free time, Rick? Did you get to look around?
Did I do? Oh, yeah. You can move around and go places. I go to the commissary for lunch, and everybody's in there from all these shows. And sometimes walking back to the soundstage, I'd stop in another soundstage to see what they're shooting. Sometimes they're closed, and sometimes they're not. But it's fun. You run into all types of actors and people that are working on something, and sometimes you get a lead. Hey, you should go try out for this show. You go try out for this show. So it's kind of good for networking. But you're in makeup, so it's kind of weird because you're eating lunch, and you look like the Hulk sitting there eating lunch.
That must be kind of strange, yeah.
Odd. Yeah, it's hard to eat.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Can you tell me how you found working with Bill Bixby?
Bixby is a very nice guy, really, really nice guy. We took a limo up to Sunset, like I said, to get our haircuts because they wanted my haircut like his. And he was just real genuine, real down to earth, just a really good guy.
Yeah.
Like you feel like you've known him forever.
Well, you did quite a few scenes with him, didn't you? Sort of on and off. I'm just curious how that worked, Rick. When you were on set, from what we see on screen, there's a lot of cuts between Bill and you. Were you actually there? With Bill, or did Bill do his bits and then you went off and then you came in?
No, they would shoot. Like there's a scene where I break this thing in the chair, and they would do a close up of him talking, and then they'd put me in and pull back a little bit, and have me do the same lines, and then they put his voice in over me, and then I would pick up this thing and with more muscle than of course, and rip a teapot and bust a table. Although when they did a close up, it was him sitting there, and they pulled back it's me.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. They have to have 2 or 3 of the same prop in case the table doesn't break right or this and that. Pull another one out and break that one. So you got to be on the mark with doing stuff so that they don't waste the props.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. How did you find working with Laurie Prange, the young lady Laurie? Yeah.
Laurie was great. We just did a book signing about 2 years ago here in the Valley. She was there, and Manny Perry was Lou Double, and the lady's name, I can never think of her name. She had a sister who was a rock star, and her husband, he wrote some of the stuff and directed it. Can't think of her name. She got red hair. She's probably around 75. She was there, and then Ernie Orsatti's wife, Julie, was there for the autograph signing. It was a book on the Hulk that was written by somebody. Thick book. I probably have about 5 pages in there. So Lori was great. Lori looks good. I mean, even now at her age now, she's great. She's a very nice lady.
Yeah.
Oh, Sandra Curry. That was her name. Sandra Curry.
Oh, Sandra Curry. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, I remember her. Yeah.
Funny thing was, my girl and I went to dinner about several months ago up by her house in Beverly Hills, and we're eating dinner, and I see the one that used to be married to Burt Reynolds, Lonnie Anderson.
Yes.
And she's with some guy, and she's with Sandra Curry and Sandra's husband. So my girlfriend always laughs at me because I seem to know everybody wherever I go. I said, I know that lady. She's Maureen Northam. I said, I think I did the Hulk with her. And her sister was Sherry Curry, who was with the Go-Go's, or one of those rock stars. So I leaned over. I said, Sandra. She said, yeah. I said, I'm Rick. I was on the Hulk with you. Oh, my God, this is my husband. He was the director. I said, I know. I met him. And this is Lonnie Anderson, and this is so-and-so. I said, so it was really kind of funny because we're having dinner right next to these people. And my girlfriend, being from Israel and Russia, she's never really been around that crowd. So it was a lot of fun. We had a good time. And the lady's very nice.
Rick, so how long would you have worked on that particular 2-part story?
I think about a month.
Yeah. And you were at the where was that location, by the way, where they had the sort of big complex, that, you know, the interior complex where they all were in?
Oh, that was down. I think it was in Playa del Rey. They have what they call a reclamation center from all the sewers that go out to the beach, and they reclaim stuff down there.
Ah.
But it was set up like all kinds of tunnels and pipes and tubes and all that. So that's where we shot that.
Yeah.
That's where we had the big thing. We're shooting the dart in the back and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I had to think for a minute.
Yeah, that was a huge place. Yeah.
Yeah, huge. It's really huge. It's not Playa del Rey. It's right near there, near the airport. What's up right near the airport by the beach? It has a big stack sitting up by the beach. The name of the place, not Playa del Rey, but the other place. El Segundo. I'm sorry, El Segundo.
Oh, right. Yeah. And you were you were cast in it. Can you remember when it was kind of like transmitted, Rick? Can you remember kind of like the reaction to it? How people kind of, you know, reacted to the episodes and reacted to you. Was there any kind of feedback to it?
Really, really good feedback on that for years and years and years. And I didn't realize that my character was kind of like a cult classic character, like for Comic-Con or something like that.
Ah.
I never even thought about it. They said, you should go down there and sign autographs and sell pictures. I said, never occurred to me. Some of the websites and blogs about the Demi-Hulk just had a big following. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I never looked into it.
Until recently, maybe. Until recent years.
Yeah, until recently. Past year.
Wow. And then you're thinking, wow, bloody hell, I must have made a good impact here. Yeah.
I should have gone. I could have made myself $10 or $20.
But it's an intriguing way how, I mean, you know, considering the budget they had, it's an interesting way how they did that, you know, having you come in for the middle part, you know, the middle transformation. It's an interesting way of sort of getting around that, you know, the special effects side of things, because obviously it would have been very difficult even then to do that, you know.
The body back then, you know.
Yeah. So they have to.
You can CGI it.
Now you could, yeah, but back then it would have been much more difficult. So I think what they had and what they did, it was a clever idea to bring a guy in like yourself to portray the middle part, you know.
Because I did look like him a lot.
You did, yeah.
You know.
It's quite uncanny actually how much you look like him. Yeah.
They've got good makeup people on that set.
Absolutely,
and, being in shape and all that, it's like one step below Lugal, one step above Bill.
So you had the eyebrows, you know, the forehead, the contacts, the nose, the mouth a bit, and you had to lip sync some of the words as well.
It was just the nose, the forehead, and the eyebrows, and the contacts.
But you had to lip sync some of Bill's words as well, didn't you?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I had to know all of his dialogue.
Yeah. So it was very intriguing how it was done, I must admit, you know.
Yeah, looking back, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I know a lot of people who see it because it's on TV a lot here. Oh, I saw you on the Hulk last night. I said, really? I never knew it was on. I might get a residual check for about $4. Yeah, every once in a while.
Not much to emigrate on, really, Rick. No, you couldn't really holiday on that. No,
it's not going to make me rich now.
What other? I just want to ask you, Rick. What other parts were you very particular fond of that you've worked on? Other shows?
I did The Shield. I played an Aryan biker, which was kind of fun. The gang leader. I did a movie called Kid with the X-Ray Eyes. I played the Arab general, which was a stretch, which I really enjoyed. I like to do things outside what I am. I don't want to be just a wrestler, a bodybuilder, a tough guy. And now that I'm older, my manager's got some new pictures. I want to send you out on some stuff. I said, I'd love to play a lawyer or a doctor. I know I can do it.
Yeah.
So times have changed. You know, years ago, casting nurse, oh, I know Ric Drasin. He's a wrestler and bodybuilder. Well, it's not like that anymore. But about 3 or 4 years ago, my agent called another agent. She says, oh, they want to see you for a commercial over in Santa Monica. Make sure you wear your posing trunks and oil up. I said, I'm 67 years old. I'm not going to oil up for anybody. So thank you. Yeah, they're out of touch. They don't know what's going on, half of them.
Yeah.
You got to create your own thing. And about 8 or 9 years ago, I created my own show on the internet called Rick's Corner. I have 28 million viewers now.
Wow.
RicksCorner.com. I interview wrestlers and actors and bodybuilders and nutrition, this and that, and that's fine. I like doing my own thing. I can control it. I can produce it. I do all the editing as well, and it's what I want to do.
That's great, Rick. Yeah, it's nice to be able to have that kind of, that kind of avenue to explore. You know.
Sure.
And I think
you teach yourself how to do things. You have to learn, but I learned and I taught myself, and it's fine.
Yeah. So with the advent of new technology,
sure.
The internet and so on, has given you these extra things to explore and
absolutely
have your voice. Yeah, which is great. It's nice to be able to express yourself. Which is something that
Yeah, and a lot of people can't. They don't know what to do.
Yeah,
they don't even know how to use a cell phone or the internet. And today you got to know all that stuff. Social media, you have to promote yourself. And so that's what I do now during the day. Is after I leave the gym and have lunch, I go home and I work on my show and I do my social media. It's important. It's very important to stay out there with people and interact with them as well.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So, is there any particular role that you really you remember really fondly, Rick, that you've done?
No, I don't know if there's any one particular. I mean, I did the Fall Guy. I played a wrestler, Handsome Harry, which was a lot of fun. I did the movie Ben with the rats, and I got attacked by rats. That was kind of interesting. It was one of the first things I did. Commercially, I've done a lot of commercials. So they've all been different, but they're all fun to do. A lot of wrestling commercials because I was active in the ring. Oh, boy, here comes the chopper. Of course, this comes over while we're talking.
Ah, there's a chopper going to us, yeah.
Each role is a different challenge. You want to get more and more and more dialogue. I took off for about the past 5 years because I wasn't getting what I wanted. I said, I don't really need to do this anymore. It doesn't matter to me. And my agent called me last week, and she says, why don't you go back on Actors Access? I have roles I want to send you out on. I said, okay, as long as you send me on something good, I'll do it.
Are you more happy, Rick, do you think, these days, just, kind of representing the bodybuilding world, or would you rather do more acting?
It doesn't matter, to be honest with you. I like what I'm doing with the bodybuilding world, the wrestling world, and my show. It's very important. Like a historian, there's not many people left like me that know the history of that and have all the access to all the guys. That's my main concern. Now, if I get out on a roll that sounds decent, I'll take it. Otherwise, I don't care to do something where I have to be on the set at 6 a.m. until 10 at night just sitting there doing nothing. I lost my desire to do that. It's just too hard at my age to do. I mean, I stay in good shape, but I'm 73, and I like to do things my way. If they call me and do a set and they say, okay, be here at 7, they don't use you till 5 in the afternoon, then don't call me because I'm not going to sit there doing nothing all day.
Sure, yeah, I can understand that. Yeah. That's a long time to wait to go on set, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the young kids will do it because they're hungry. They want all the roles. I don't care. I'm not hungry for it. I don't need it.
Well, you've done that already, Rick, so, yeah. You've already been there and done it, so you don't really want to go through that again.
Exactly.
Yeah, But do you want to give a shout out for anything that you're doing at the moment, Rick? That people might be interested in checking out. might be interested
Go to
in.
my website, ricdrasin.com. I have a lot of history of bodybuilding and wrestling, a lot of my acting stuff on there. I also have the logo from the Gold Gym that I designed in 1973. This is the largest iconic logo in the world, which I actually sell the drawings hand-drawn for each person individually. They can order off my website and autographed. I have books on there on bodybuilding and wrestling, nutrition, the time of my life. I have a book on there. It's on Google, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and it's my whole history from the beginning until now, called The Time of My Life. It's on my website, ricdrasin.com, and then on rickscorner.com, I have 1,200 videos of interviews with people from all over. So I think they'll enjoy that a lot. It's a lot of fun.
That sounds great, Rick. Yeah. So I'll put that up for you, and so hopefully people will be interested in checking you out, of course, and
Sure.
and maybe getting in touch with you some way and asking you things if they like, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. You can always reach me.
Because I know you're very approachable, which is great, you know.
Yeah. Totally.
And Rick, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you and talking about the Hulk. I really appreciate your time. Take care, Rick. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.